the renewable use the vehicle control.
Okay. So, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. So we will soon start the webinar. I think there's still some people joining the event, so we can wait for another 1 or 2 minutes, and then we can start the webinar. Okay, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome and thanks for joining our webinar on exploring solar energy and energy storage investment potentials in the UK. My name is Eric Zheng, the energy sector lead from DBT Hong Kong, and I'm honored to be your host today. Today, we have an incredible lineup of speakers who will share their insights and expertise on the solar energy and energy storage development in the UK. Our goal is to provide you with valuable information and investment opportunity of this sector and a platform for discussion. So feel free to use the chat functions to raise questions. We will have the Q&A session at the end of the webinar where our speakers will address your inquiries. So before we start the webinar, I would like to take a few minutes to introduce the role of Department for Business and Trade Hong Kong and our goal. Let me just share my screen. Yep. So DBT is the UK government department in Hong Kong and Hong Kong. We help UK companies succeed in Hong Kong and Hong Kong companies set up and invest in the UK. We offer expertise and contacts through our extensive network of specialists in the UK and staff in the British Consulate in Hong Kong. So for this webinar, it is an example of how we strive to connect companies and investors, building a robust communication channel by fostering this connection. We aim to create opportunity and collaborations and growth within the energy and transport sector in the UK. Now let's dive into today's topic, exploring solar energy and energy storage investment potentials in the UK. It is my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Stephen Wilding. Stephen is the Commercial Director at Solar Energy UK, leading commercial activity, membership development, and partnership retaining. With years of experience in trade associations, Stephen has significantly grown memberships globally and expand into national markets. Today, Stephen will share insights on the opportunity for solar and energy storage in UK and the benefits of being a member of Solar Energy UK. So please join me in welcoming Stephen. And Stephen, the time is yours. I will stop sharing first. Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. And you have the slides ready for me when I need them. Is that correct? You're muted.
Do you want to share the screen yourself?
I can share my screen. Absolutely.
Yeah,
No problems.
yeah.
No problems. Okay. So yes, good afternoon, good morning to everybody. As Eric said, my name is Stephen Wilding. I am the commercial director here at Solar Energy UK. And I lead on everything commercially within our trade association. So let me dive into the presentation. Let me just start from the beginning. So I'm going to cover a few topics that I think might be of interest to yourselves today. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Solar Energy UK. We are the trade association for the UK market. That covers England, Northern Ireland, Wales and Scotland. I'm going to actually then move into the potential of the UK market and the growth that we are currently seeing and will be seeing over the next 5, 10, even 15 years. I will then move into the benefits of becoming a member to Solar Energy UK, and then moving into some market intelligence that we are just in the process of launching that gives members access to over 5,500 projects, both in battery and in solar projects. So a little bit about Solar Energy UK. We were established back in, I think it was 1978. And we now represent nearly 450 companies within the solar and battery sector. We do actually represent 2,500 additional companies through our partnership we have with an organization called MCS, which is very much focused on the residential rooftop sector. We represent these companies first and foremost through the lobbying activity that we do as a lobbying organization. We are very much entwined with government, and our members inform us of obstacles, problems and hurdles to overcome that we then take to government to try and change or update legislation on how projects get through planning, how the grid is connected, how we need more skills and workforce within this marketplace. So a huge amount of work that we do is dedicated to our lobbying team. Coming into the potential for the UK market. So I will cover the whole market. We do represent the domestic installers, commercial, and then into the utility space, as well as into the battery sectors. I'm focusing more on the larger scale projects. So for here, you can see this is more to do with commercial rooftop installations. Okay. And to give you some idea, you can see that currently or in 2024, at the end of 2024, commercial rooftop solar was about 2.4 gigawatts installed. Government has come in and we're working with government on specific targets, and we estimate Solar Energy UK, not UK government, but Solar Energy UK estimate that we can actually achieve 15.3 gigawatts of commercial rooftop by 2035. So in the next 10 years, we need to double and double again what we currently have. That's a huge potential of the marketplace. Batteries, as you can see there, 0.5 of a gigawatt. And our estimate is that we will have 8.3 gigawatts by 2035, which is a huge marketplace. What does that actually then give us? That gives us GVA, gross value added to the industry, to the UK economy, to jobs. As you can see there, a doubling of jobs in the next 10 years. You will also see that batteries, jobs in batteries, that is also the manufacturing side. We do have some manufacturing here in the UK, but the installation of these projects is massive. And that just gives you a little overview as to what we envisage should happen within the next 10 years in the commercial rooftop space. Moving into the utility scale, so ground mount, again, looking at these targets that solar energy has produced, currently 11.5 gigawatts that are already installed. There is a huge pipeline of projects going through planning applications and going through the Secretary of State at the moment. And we estimate that there is nearly 60 gigawatts that could be installed by 2035. And again, you can see in the battery side of things, 6 gigawatts currently and over 33 gigawatts by 2035. That is massive. The potential is huge. And once again, what does that result in? That results in a huge jump in GVA. So the amount of products and services and jobs that are going to be created here in the UK. This is very much led by our lobbying team, ensuring that a lot of the obstacles and hurdles that our members are telling us about, we then work with government to overcome. Ultimately, it is a huge potential marketplace. Moving into the overall impact of the industry. Now, this includes both rooftop, commercial rooftop, and then into the utility space. You can see once again, the numbers are massive. Currently 20 gigawatts that is installed. And we estimate in the next 10 years that will exceed 90 gigawatts just in solar. In batteries, 7.5, and that hopefully will exceed just over 50 gigawatts. And once again, the GVA, the value that is bringing into the country, and the jobs that are going to be created. The government is very much behind what we are doing now. But that just gives you a flavour of the potential of the UK marketplace. It is not just doubling, it is doubling again over the next 10 years. And the point being is that the UK requires and needs not just skills and workforce, which we can create domestically, but the equipment, the panels, the cabling, the inverters, the batteries, the technology that is required for this sector. As mentioned, so we are a membership organisation, and first and foremost, as I've mentioned to you earlier, is that we are a lobbying organisation. We are here to overcome the problems and hurdles that our members are telling us about at a lot of the member-only meetings and forums that we host. Our policy team then gather that information, we produce consultations, and we take that to government for them to hopefully listen and change some of the legislation and regulation that is inhibiting some of these projects. So why become a member? For that reason I've just mentioned. Secondly, to expand and grow your network. So we host, actually last year we hosted and were part of nearly 80 different events. That could be our own events and forums that are specifically focused on certain areas of the marketplace. It could be about pure networking events to meet and have a few drinks and network with operators, developers, EPCs. Stay ahead and informed. So we, as I've mentioned, we produce a vast amount of information for the industry. A lot of that is member-only information, news, insights, market briefings. We are just on the verge of launching a market intelligence platform that will be able to give all of our members access to 5,500 projects, past, present, and future, so that you can see if projects need repowering, what is currently being developed, and what is the potential and the amount of projects being developed for the future. Okay, so a lot of information on the industry. And as mentioned, we shape the industry. 450 members, 2,500 installers. Information that we gather from them, we take to government and ensure that the government then listens to what we have to say, and ideally looks at changing the marketplace to make it grow and become a lot more efficient. We have a lot of specific areas that we focus in on. So some of the steering groups that our members can be part of are all of these here: responsible sourcing for ESG and supply chain issues, planning and land use for obviously getting planning through on these projects, natural capital to do with biodiversity and net gain, which affects the planning of projects. We have huge problems, like a lot of the rest of the world, to do with grid and how that grid can be more efficient and get more projects into it. The economics of the markets, skills and workforce, generating up to 60,000 new jobs in this marketplace, standards and certification to accredit everything that is happening in this marketplace, and a UK supply chain to ensure that UK companies can grow within this sector. So all companies can be part of these specific steering groups if you would like to. In addition, we then host dedicated forums to do with the utility scale ground mount sector and then the rooftop sectors. Both follow the similar sort of patterns where our policy team will present to our members in a closed environment, members only, about updates, changes, new regulations, best practice, knowledge gaining and knowledge sharing about how these projects can get better and more efficient, and obviously become standard for safety across the board. Our members thrive in this atmosphere and can also have presentations in a case study environment presented to our members. As mentioned, we then host specific networking events, 4 of them per year. We have just hosted back in April a parliamentary reception held at the House of Commons. We will replicate these on an annual basis. We then have our own standalone summer reception. You're just about to hear from my colleagues at Terrapin, and in partnership with Terrapin, we support their exhibitions, but we also host a networking drinks reception during the very large Solar and Storage Live in Birmingham. We then host an end of year winter reception after 2 forums that we have taken place as well. So plenty of opportunities to meet the right people. We create a platform for you to come and attend, and then you can meet the right people to do business with and learn more about the industry and how to get engaged on some of these huge projects. Just to touch upon, as I've mentioned, Solar Pulse. So Solar Pulse is our market intelligence platform. This is a database, a searchable database of nearly 5,500 battery projects, and then, 5,500 battery and large-scale solar projects. 2,500 solar projects are 5 megawatts and above. Okay, we will be adding and updating this database on a very regular basis to ensure that the information in there is as up to date as it possibly can be. But this is an opportunity to find out about projects and get engaged with the owners, the operators, and the EPCs to then sell your equipment and services. The database is being produced by Solar Energy UK, so it is a trade association platform, but we are working both with government and with a lot of our developer companies in ensuring that the data is the absolute best it possibly can be. It allows you to track projects. It allows you to search projects by various different means, by the owners, by the operators, by the size of the projects, the location, and very many other different areas in which we are producing a lot of policy behind it. So for BNG, biodiversity net gain, it's about showing that when these projects are built, that the companies who built them are enticing habitats back into the land that they've been built on. That is it. I believe that there are some questions a little bit later, but I thank you very much for your time. I would just wrap up by saying there are my contact details there. If anybody does have any questions about Solar Energy UK or is interested in membership, we are a trade association that can represent and do represent many overseas companies, not just UK companies. But thank you very much for your time. Back to you, Eric.
Stephen, thank you. We hope later we have some time to come back to answer the question about the Solar Pulse. Now let's move on to the next speaker, Ms. Rebecca Snow. Rebecca is the General Manager of Terrapin's Solar and Storage Live, the European regions overseeing all aspects from business development to show delivery. She leads the UK's largest solar and storage trade show, attracting over 20,000 attendees, 500 plus exhibitors, and more than 200 speakers. The 2025 editions, in partnership with Solar Energy UK, were held at the NEC Birmingham in this September. So Rebecca will walk us through an overview of the Solar and Storage Live exhibitions in Birmingham and a look back at the history and evolution of the event. Please join me in welcoming Rebecca. Rebecca, please.
Thanks, Eric. And thank you for having us. I'm just going to also share my screen. Okay. Okay. So yes, I'm here with my colleague Isabel Brown. Isabel is our head of content and strategic partnerships for Solar and Storage Live UK. I'm just going to talk you through the event which Stephen mentioned. He did a very good job of explaining the opportunity in the UK market. And I guess the next question is for Chinese companies, how to access that opportunity in the kind of most efficient way. And we believe that the Solar and Storage Live event series is one of the ways that Chinese businesses can access that opportunity. So the Solar and Storage Live brand is a global event brand. We run exhibitions and trade shows across Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. The event runs in 19 locations globally, and we're responsible for the European events, which include 2 events in the UK. The Birmingham event, which is in September, and then we also have an event in London, which is in April every year. Across the global series, we attract over 150,000 buyers, attendees to the exhibition, and over 3,000 international exhibitors. The Birmingham event, as we mentioned, is in September. It runs for 3 days at the NEC in Birmingham. This year, it is also co-located with a new exhibition that we're launching, which is EV Charge Live, and covers development of the electric vehicle charging infrastructure for the UK. As Stephen mentioned, we run the event in partnership with Solar Energy UK, and we're very lucky that we've had the support of Stephen's Association for many years. The event brings together global stakeholders, so we have exhibitors and attendees from across the whole solar and energy storage value chain. Companies come to showcase their innovations and technologies, but also to meet local and international partners who can help them develop their business in the UK. We also have a large network of installers and solar project developers that attend the event, as well as EPCs and property owners and landowners in the UK who are looking to install their solar and storage project. The Birmingham event, which is Solar and Storage Live UK, was launched in 2012. So this will be the 13th year that the event has run. It has grown in size significantly since 2021. We then launched the London edition in 2024. And the reason for this was that many of our sponsors and exhibitors were keen to have a second opportunity in the year to access UK buyers. The interest and the demand is so high for products and solutions in the UK market that the industry was keen to have another opportunity in the year to come together. As I mentioned, we've launched the EV Charge Live event this year, so that will be also held on the same dates at the NEC in Birmingham. It will be in the next hall to Solar and Storage Live UK, and that will help to broaden the exhibitor audience as well as the attendee audience for the event. The exhibition brings together suppliers and buyers across residential solar and storage, commercial and industrial, and also utility scale. So we really have that end-to-end coverage of the value chain. The only people that the event is not for is for consumers, homeowners, but the rest of the value chain we cover. Taking place in Birmingham, as we mentioned, where the government is heavily investing in net zero initiatives. And I know that Chris is going to cover the opportunity specifically in the West Midlands shortly. Stephen also did a very good job of covering the potential and the opportunities in the UK market. So I won't go through many more statistics for you all, but as Eric said, we will be sharing the slides after the presentation. And then the type of companies who exhibit at the show. So the exhibitors cover many manufacturers, including panel manufacturers, mounting systems, energy storage systems, battery manufacturers, inverters. We cover the EV charging points and infrastructure companies, but we also have many UK wholesalers and distributors who partner with our Chinese clients. We have a lot of component suppliers and software suppliers. We also have a lot of operations and maintenance companies, and we cover an aspect of the exhibition covers the people that we would put into the bracket of consultants and professional services firms. So legal firms, insurance firms, project finance, planning. So again, covering that whole broad spectrum of the sector. And then the attendees, we have a huge amount of installers and solar project developers who make up a large portion of the attendees to the exhibition. But we also have utilities companies, engineering and construction companies. We have property owners, building owners, landowners. We have attendees from government and local authorities, and we have a lot of speakers at the event, also from government. And again, attendees from finance, legal, property development. And the reason why our exhibitors choose our event is, again, to connect with decision makers and to meet new partners and to strengthen their partnerships in the UK market. The exhibitors also tend to launch new products. So when they want to launch a new product into the UK market, they will tend to do a launch campaign across the event, and we will help them to promote that and to share that with the UK media, with our partners, and also on our own editorial site that we have called Solar and Storage Extra. To make sales is generally one of the #1 priorities for our exhibitors, to drive sales leads and to actually make sales at the event. Some of the features or zones that we have at the exhibition include an installer training hub, which we run in close partnership with Solar Energy UK. This area of the show is where we build small roofs and rigs where our exhibitors can do live demonstrations of the installation of their products. And they'll run those small workshops or demonstration sessions multiple times throughout the show. So it gives them a real opportunity to demonstrate the products to installers in real time. We also have a Meet the Installer zone. So this is an area where UK installers will all have small exhibition booths where they can meet with partners and with customers. And we also have small exhibition booths for startup companies. So new companies entering the UK market who are in the early stages of their business can take a small space with us to have a presence at the event. We have a recruitment zone, which is where our exhibitors and partners can advertise any live roles that they have available. So they can advertise their job roles, and then they can meet with candidates at the event. So the visitors who are coming to the event can apply for those roles at the event. We also have 4 conference theatres. So we have speakers and presentations throughout the 3 days of the show. And those theatres cover residential, with a lot of content there for installers. We have a commercial and industrial theatre, a utility scale theatre, and then we have a dedicated energy storage theatre, again with speakers running for the whole of the 3 days. We introduced in 2024 the European Solar Games. This is a competition that runs throughout the event, where we have 2 large roofing rigs built on the show floor, and UK installers compete throughout the event to install panels within a 1-hour time period. They have to install 6 panels. We have judges who come and check the quality of the installation, and they score and rate those competitors. At the end of the show, we then give an award to the UK's top installer. And then finally, on the evening of the first day of the event, so on the 23rd of September, we run an official awards ceremony. So we have the Solar and Storage Live Awards. Oh. Can you still see my screen? Apologies. Yeah. The Solar and Storage Live Awards, which run, as I said, on the evening of the first day, we have 13 awards categories. We have a formal dinner, entertainment, and that ends the first day of the show. And to wrap up, we believe that the Solar and Storage Live UK is really your key platform for entering the UK market. It is the largest solar and storage exhibition in the UK, the second largest being our London show. We again cover the end-to-end value chain, and it really is the meeting point for anyone involved in the UK renewable energy industry. It's their key date in their diary every year is to be in Birmingham in September, for them to make those partnerships, generate leads, and to really launch their new products. And that is it for me, Eric. We've left contact details for Isabel at the bottom of the screen, who deals with all of our partnerships and is working with a lot of our clients and partners in China. So you can contact me or also contact Isabel, but I know that we're going to follow up with some more questions later.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rebecca. Actually, I can see some of the brands and companies from China joining the event, and I'm sure after the webinar, there will be more audience get in touch with the team to know more about the event. And next, I'm excited to introduce our last speaker, Mr. Chris Lau. Chris is the international market lead at West Midlands Growth Company, responsible for attracting foreign investment to the West Midlands. He has extensive experience in trade and investment, including role at the British Consulate General in Hong Kong. And he will share with us an overview of the West Midlands and its key growth opportunities, the incentive programs such as the Global Growth Program and investment zones, and a few case studies showcasing successful land projects in the region. So let's give a warm welcome to Chris. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much for this opportunity to present to you all. Can you see my screen? Just double checking.
Yes, but it's not in the full screen yet. Now it's okay.
Great, thank you. So thank you for taking time to join us on this webinar. Obviously, Stephen and Rebecca has given a very good overview about some of the opportunities, particularly in the solar industry. The conference, Solar and Live, obviously happens in Birmingham, so I thought it would be useful to share a little bit of background about the city region itself. So the region itself is a very fast-growing economy. We are about 117 billion. If we were a country, we're about the same economic size as Slovakia, one of the Central European countries. Population-wise, we're about the same population as New Zealand, so 4.7 million population. what is interesting is that we have a couple of very unique things in the UK. We have one of the youngest populations in Europe. Actually, Birmingham is the youngest city in Europe. We manage to retain a lot of our students. We have 185,000 students studying at any time at one of our 9 universities. And we also is still a very major manufacturing hub for the UK. So we are one of the largest automotive export hubs in the UK. So a little bit about the city region. If you're not aware, we have 3 cities. So we have Wolverhampton, Coventry, and Birmingham is the UK's second city. We're very centrally located, sort of almost halfway between sort of London and Manchester. At the moment, trains between London and Birmingham are very regular. It's about an hour and 20 minutes to get to Euston Station in London, with high-speed train that we're building that will bring it down to a further 52 minutes. And if you're driving from Birmingham, you can reach 90% of the UK within a 4-hour drive. And we're extremely well connected with some of the major motorways all passing through Birmingham. Separately, we have our own airport. Birmingham Airport is the UK's third largest regional airport. We have a number of direct flights, and then we also not far down the road from Heathrow and also Manchester Airport, which offers direct flight connections to both China and Hong Kong. So over the years, we've attracted a number of significant investors, some of which you can see on the screen. Some of the most recent wins that we're very proud of. HSBC, for example, moved their UK headquarters from London to Birmingham. So all of the retail banking, wealth management, corporate banking for the UK is now done in Birmingham. Quite recently, Goldman Sachs also decided to open the first tech office outside of London. They looked all around Europe and decided to set up in Birmingham. So obviously, very significant employers in that financial professional services space. I also mentioned about the automotive element. So we export about a third of the UK automotive exports. And some of the major players include Jaguar Land Rover, Aston Martin, Rolls-Royce, etc. Specifically on the energy sector, we have Cadent Gas, a major employer in the energy space, but also E.ON. National Grid is also headquartered in Birmingham. So you might recognize a lot of the names in the first 4 rows with some of the major companies from across US, Europe, Asia, but you probably won't recognize some of the names that are in the bottom 2 rows. And as a region, we are very interested in supporting some of the future unicorns, some of the future energy type companies in using West Midlands as a base. You might recognize EqualFlow, but I will come on to that later. So it's not just companies that are moving to Birmingham. Over the last 10 years, Birmingham has been the main recipient of migration outside of people moving out of London. So a lot of young professionals are now finding London too expensive. From an operating cost perspective for companies, we're about 1/3 to a quarter cheaper than London, whilst very strategically located in the centre of the UK. So if your main customer base is the UK itself, we are a very competitive location to consider. But I think the tables on the right-hand side really explain itself, which is a comparison of property prices between London and Birmingham. So from a company perspective, yes, moving to Birmingham, you may be saving quite a large a proportion of operating costs, but for your employees, it's a much higher disposable income, which means a much happier workforce that would stay with your company. Just going back to the table, the graph on the left-hand side, it's worth flagging. Obviously, Birmingham is the top recipient, but our other city, Coventry, surprisingly, is actually number 5 on that list, right behind Manchester. So the region is obviously very diverse with very high quality of life. So Birmingham, as a major city, is a big attraction but Coventry has also provided some very unique opportunities where our professionals from London are finding it very attractive to move to. So moving on a little bit about the low carbon sector, we see low carbon as the fastest growing sector of our key sectors. At the moment, there's a huge amount of employees that are already employed in the region, but we see that rapidly growing in the next 5 years, creating at least 20,000 new jobs. We have a number of major companies and policies which offers opportunities in that sector. We also have a very unrivaled university-led innovation ecosystem. Some of the major opportunities that are upcoming is that we are building a gigafactory, which will provide some of the batteries for our automotive companies. So that is obviously a very immediate opportunity for companies to be involved in. We also have some other unique strengths, particularly in built environment. So we have Europe's largest built environment campus. We also have a very strong history in that circular economy resource management. And finally, I know it's not the focus on today's call, but it is worth mentioning in the future mobility space, particularly in electric vehicles, we are the UK's sort of 5G testbed. So in terms of new cars, connected autonomous vehicles, electric vehicles, a lot of those testing and R&D happens in our region. So West Midlands Growth Company, we're a partner of the Department for Business and Trade. We offers free and complimentary support to any investors that are interested to come and explore the region. We help do benchmarking, we help build business cases if you're looking to consider the region. If you're looking for property searches, we can help with that. We also do sort of familiarization visits, and obviously we'll be at Solar Live. If you're interested to talk to us, we can meet you there as well. So the final two things I want to talk about on today's webinar is firstly our Global Growth Program, and which offers a free landing support to any tech-enabled companies, and a little bit about the investment zones. So Global Growth Program was a program we launched during the Commonwealth Games in 2022, a highly successful program which attracted some of the most innovative companies from Commonwealth countries like India, Australia, Canada, Singapore, but also from increasingly a number of interests from non-Commonwealth countries, so from the US, from Turkey, and we've got companies from China and Hong Kong who have joined this program as well. What it enables to do, if we start from the right-hand side, is 3 layers of support. Firstly, we offered sponsored workspace for 9 months for companies that are interested in coming to the West Midlands using it as a base. It's a fully serviced office. You can use it as your company address as well. Then we offered a sector-specific program, which you can see on the middle. We focus on 4 key sectors: clean tech, med tech, future mobility, and digital tech. We offer a program which plugs you in with the key ecosystem innovators, whether it's universities or the research institutes. We also organize regular industry roundtables with some of our industry primes. So the likes of E.ON we talked about, or in the automotive space with the likes of Jaguar Land Rover, also bringing government, local government and government regulators. We talk about the latest issues. It is obviously not a procurement exercise, so we can't help you directly to do business development, but it's a great way for you to understand what's happening in the region. And then finally, a bespoke international support, which helps on little things, whether it's about opening a UK company, getting a UK bank account. Sometimes that is quite challenging. We have specialist providers who have a special banking license who can, if they're comfortable with all your accounts, they will act as a guarantor to open your business account. And if you're looking to relocate over yourself, whether it's temporary accommodation or if you've got children who are looking for education, we can also help advise on schools. So there are 6 landing hubs. You can see on the left-hand side, there are 6 landing hubs across the region. 4 in central Birmingham, and 2 one in Coventry and one in Wolverhampton. And it's worth mentioning Tyseley Energy Park. If you haven't been, highly recommend you to visit next time you're in Birmingham. So it's run in partnership with the University of Birmingham, and it's one of the UK's sole energy-focused innovation and business park. So in this program, we're looking to attract 15 new businesses that will come into the program. So I talked a little bit about the layers of support within the 4 sectors that we focus on. Each of the program has a subsector program. So focusing on clean tech, which I understand is the main interest for the attendees on this webinar. Within the clean tech sector, we offer subsector programs that focus on battery storage, on bioenergy, biochar, decarbonized heat and power, land remediation, and waste to value. And it may be a company that comes in that interested in some of parts of these programs or multiple parts of the subsector programs across different sectors. And we're able to tailor and deliver a program that's fit for your interests. So you may be interested in, for example, on the battery storage subsector program, but at the same time, the services of your company also has a cybersecurity element. We'll be happy to plug you in on innovators or the ecosystem players in both of these areas or more of them, depending on your requirements. So a little bit about the success story. We are very fortunate to have companies from both Hong Kong and China who have recently landed into the program. In March this year, our Mayor Richard Parker and myself was in China. We visited Shenzhen, and one of the companies we have been working with is EcoFlow, that you may be aware of. They are an energy storage unicorn company that had a valuation of over £1 billion US dollar back in 2021. They operate in 140 markets, and in the UK market, they are the market leader in terms of the battery energy storage for camping and sort of mobile homes. And EcoFlow has chosen Birmingham as their new UK headquarters, and they'll be creating 35 to 40 jobs, which serves both as their sales office, but also the aftercare unit. So they'll be employing some of the engineers based here as well. The other company that we've landed into the program last year, actually the logo is not correct, I'm not sure why that's happened, is Excalibur. They are a company from Hong Kong that offers energy service solutions, some of the advisory, and they've picked Birmingham to set up a sales and R&D office at Steam House, one of the 6 locations. So obviously this program's been very attractive to a number of companies of varying sizes, like smaller startups like Excalibur, but also some of the more established companies like EcoFlow. Joining this program, you'll be joining alumni of these companies, which offer a very good network in supporting your company's expansion journey, both in the West Midlands and the UK. You can see a QR code on the bottom right corner, and if you scan it, you can see the brochures to this program. We can obviously share this after this webinar as well, and happy to answer any other questions later. Final thing I want to quickly go through is our investment zones. So investment zones are a government-backed investment scheme to offer some of the financial incentives for companies that are looking to invest into the UK. In the West Midlands, we're very fortunate to have 3 investment zones in 3 areas. So firstly, in central Birmingham, which is in our knowledge quarter, focused on the tech industry, and actually both Excalibur and EcoFlow have landed into this region. Separately, we have the hub in Wolverhampton and also the hub in Coventry. And all of these investment zones are located to where our key industry clusters are based. In terms of financial incentives, any companies that are landing into the region will not be paying any stamp duty. There's full stamp duty tax relief. There's also what we call the enhanced SBAS, which is the structure and building allowance. So they're 10% straight line deduction across the years. And then there's also capital allowances. So in terms of the first year, if you're building a plant or buying any machinery, there's full capital allowance on that. In terms of business rates as well, you will not be paying business rates for the first 5 years, which is quite a substantial saving and cost. The final thing is around employees. So if you are looking to employ staff in these areas, you will not be paying employer national insurance contribution up to £25,000. So obviously that for the first 3 years, that is quite a big incentive in terms of saving the employee cost, which is great if you're looking to employ quite labor intensive sort of operations in the region. So just aware of time, very briefly, want to focus on the two investment zones which may be more relevant for companies on this call. The first one is our Coventry and Warwick Gigapark. So it is next to, it is where we're looking to build our Gigafactory. At the moment, we are already the UK's sort of future mobility zone. So that I mentioned about the comprehensive on-road autonomous test bed, which happens here. We also have some of the largest research clusters in the automotive space. So Jaguar Land Rover, Tata, Lotus, Polestar. About 70% of the UK automotive R&D happens in this region, 60 or 70%. And we're hoping to do more. So in this region, across the 240 hectares, where we're looking to attract companies that are in the R&D, manufacturing or recycling space to be based here. The other one I want to briefly talk about is the Wolverhampton Green Innovation Corridor. So at the moment, the area is very unique. There's a major modern methods construction campus. So things to do with modern construction, modular housing, but also the UK's National Brownfield Institute. So in the UK, because we were the first country to industrialize, there's a number of pollutants that are in the land. The National Brownfield Institute offers some expertise in terms of how to remedify, how to take the pollutants out of the land for it to be safe to build again. So in this investment zone, we're looking to unify some of the materials R&D, but also some of the innovative clean tech startups to help advance some of the innovation in that space. So there's a number of research innovation in that metals, additive space, advanced manufacturing, energy efficient AI. And there's also an existing supply chain cluster of aerospace, automotive, construction companies. So being based there, you're close to both the innovation hub, but also some of the innovation ecosystem. So very generous tax subsidies compiled with the commercial opportunity there. So I'll probably stop there. You have my contact details on screen. If you've got any questions or whilst you are coming here to attend the NG conference that we Rebecca and the team have talked about, very happy to talk to you or in general share some of the experiences about some of the companies from Hong Kong that have come to Birmingham and the West Midlands.
Thank you very much, Chris, for the sharing. Me myself also find it very attractive, and I think the startups will find it very supportive for the program. So now let's open the floor to the questions, and I think it's a very good opportunity for the audience to engage with our speakers and get more insight on the topics that we have covered today. So I can see already some questions on the chat box. Maybe the first question is for Stephen, and can you share some examples how the solar pulse has influenced or supports the investment and policy decisions, and how the system can it assist the stakeholders to identify and mitigate the risk in the solar and energy storage industry?
Not yet. Very simply, Solar Pulse, we haven't launched it yet. We are launching it on the 9th of June. However, part of the development of it has taken into account lots of the questions that have come up from our members about. I won't go into too much detail, but when a project is trying to get through planning, this is a large-scale solar project. It's trying to get through planning here in the UK. There are lots and lots of issues that are raised. Where it is, the type of land it's being built on, where the connection for the grid will be, who's going to develop the project, and so on. Solar Pulse has taken a lot of this into consideration. So again, when building a solar farm, there is a lot of myth here in the UK about food security and solar farms being built on prime agricultural land, and very soon the UK will not have enough land to feed its population. We know now through the research that we've done on past, present and future projects that are going through planning, that the projects that have already been built or are going to be built have been built on lower grade agricultural land. We are collecting that data in Solar Pulse. And the reason we're doing that is, again, to show government, first and foremost, that what is being portrayed in the media is incorrect. And secondly, that solar projects are actually being built on lower grade agricultural land that cannot grow crops very well at all without having to pump the land full of harmful fertilizers and so on. The other part of it then, which also helps projects get through planning, is to do with BNG, biodiversity net gain, which is another big issue here in the UK, in that the media are portraying solar farms as you know, just dead plots of land where nothing grows, no insects, no wildlife, anything. To the contrary, is that a lot of the developers now are investing in biodiversity net gain to ensure that they measure the quantity and quality, I suppose, of nature where the solar farm will be. And once the project has been developed, it is then enticing that nature back into and gaining even more grasses, insects, mammals, ground nesting birds, and so on. So lots of that data is also being captured within Solar Pulse. So it's not actually influencing yet, but it very much will do when we come to launch that in just over a week and a half's time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Stephen. So looking forward to see the updates about the Solar Pulse. So the next question is for Rebecca. So the audience would like to ask if there's new features or formats being introduced in the coming event in Birmingham, and probably I was also interested in knowing more about the EV charging, that part as well. Yeah.
Yes, no problem. Yes, so some of the new features for the event this year include the Meet the Installer Zone, which is, I mentioned briefly earlier, but we have a whole area on the exhibition floor, which will have about 30 installer businesses all in one area. And we introduced that based on feedback from the installers, but also the attendees who come to the event. So for the installers, their feedback was we walk around the show and we get to go and meet with all the manufacturers, with different partners. We get to meet with UK distributors, and we can go out and walk around the show for the whole 3 days, and we can go and meet people. But there's nowhere for people to come and meet us, to find us. Like, people can't find us at the event. So we had a lot of installers who were very keen to have their own space with their branding, where they can invite people to come to their stand and come and have meetings with them. So we brought that area of the show. We introduced it for this year, and we're grouping all of those companies in one place, so that if an attendee wants to find an installer, or they want to go and meet with lots of installers to assess who might be the best partner for them, there's one area at the exhibition where they can meet 30 installers all in one place. So that's one of the features. Another feature is the startup zone. So because the show has grown so quickly in the last few years, and it's become so large, we have very, very large exhibition stands. We have very large companies who attend and exhibit, all the way down to kind of 9 square meter stands. But even those are they're too costly for startup businesses. So businesses who've been in operation for less than 2 years, they're maybe not generating significant revenue yet, but we really wanted to provide an opportunity for those companies who we hope will be, the large companies of the future in the UK market. We wanted to give those companies a place where they can demonstrate their products or their solutions. So again, we have an area in the exhibition where there'll be about 30 startup businesses, new entrants, who can take one of these small pods in those zones. And as you mentioned, Eric, the EV Charge Live event is brand new for this year. So it's the first time that we will run the EV Charge Live exhibition. We've also launched it at a couple of our other events in Asia, but it's the first time that we're running EV Charge Live in the UK. It will be in the next hall to Solar and Storage Live, and the visitors will be able to walk between the two shows. So it will be completely open, where the visitors for Solar and Storage Live can walk through into EV Charge Live, and the same the other way. And that event is really to build out our exhibitor and visitor audience for any companies who are involved in EV charging infrastructure. So that event it's not focused at electric vehicle manufacturers, it's focused at charging infrastructure manufacturers. There's a lot of crossover into the battery storage, the energy storage element of the Solar and Storage Live event. So that's where the two events kind of cross over. But also for installers, we have a lot of there's a lot of interest in the UK for people who want to become an accredited installer. They want to receive training, they want to access the industry, and they want to join the industry as an installer. But they see that there's huge opportunity for them, for their business, in solar and energy storage installation, but also in charging infrastructure installation.
Thank you very much. Yes, I can expect the EV charging and what Chris mentions, the future mobility actually can bring quite a lot of synergy and attract those startups or companies to land in Birmingham. So my next question from the audience is for Chris. Like, probably we know that the Asian market or the Chinese companies are strong in energy storage and batteries. Any specific incentive available for the Asian companies, or does you have any like special requirement for joining the global your programs?
Sure. So unfortunately, we don't have very specific incentives available for Asian companies, but we are very open and very welcoming to companies from Asia and joining the Global Growth Program, certainly. I think in terms of the requirements for Global Growth Program, firstly, the company needs to be tech enabled. So I don't think it will be a problem for any companies on this call. What we're not looking for is traders. So in order, if you're buying, for example, a bunch of toys or a bunch of clothes from from East Asia and looking to sell to the UK, probably not the program for you. There is quite a rigorous selection program criteria. We're looking for companies that would add value to our ecosystem. So whether you're complementing the supply chain or you're a buyer into some of the services, those are the types of companies we're looking for. The program is also only open to foreign-owned companies. So you have to have a minimum 10% foreign ownership to be able to join the program. The reason for it is that we don't want the program to be displacing some of our local companies. So we don't want someone who's coming, a local company, just to be saying, right, someone's paying for my rent for 9 months and giving me support, I'm joining the program. It is aimed at a soft landing for new international companies. Not necessarily have to be new to the West Midlands. If you are an international company that may have already got a base in London or in Edinburgh, and you're looking to try out the West Midlands to find opportunities there, this program's open and available. And then I think the final thing, which I think is also beneficial for the companies, the program provides up to 3 desks for each of the company. We would encourage the company to use all of them and to spend as much time as possible in the region. Ultimately, you get as much as you put in. So if you join the program, ultimately you spend most of your time in Asia, in Hong Kong, China. That probably doesn't enable the cohort or the companies to get as much out of it. We do have excellent networking events, and Birmingham is one of the main conference bases. So you've heard about Solar Live, but we also have a lot of events at the NEC, at the ICC, some of the largest conference facilities in the UK. There's also events like Birmingham Tech Week in October, which I would strongly encourage any of our companies to consider as well, which has a big focus on the energy as well as the EV subsector. Sorry, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so actually for me, I have a questions that would like to ask. I'm not sure who is interested in answer this question. Is in this couple of years, I see there's a new business model called the energy as a service. So which is asset light model, unlike traditional business model for the solar in the solar industry. Like we do have an installer, we have someone who distribute the solar panel, but it's the service itself as the business model. So did you see the trend of this kind of model in the UK? I mean, maybe Stephen or Rebecca, do you see this kind of topics or people?
So we have the business model of distributors. We have a lot of those in membership, the likes of, let's say, CGen or Midsummers. Explain to me again the other business model, because I've got a feeling that I've not come across that yet.
The energy as a service business model is like people who do all the things for example in the industrial cluster, and they just charge the fee for, so for example help you to do energy savings and the repairment in all together, instead of doing only the installation service.
I suppose that may come under companies that might be perhaps IPPs and even do things like PPAs. The way in which the energy is sold to companies, is that what you mean? That sort of area?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. So there are a lot of companies that do PPAs. If someone could look up what that acronym means, I can't actually remember what it means, but it's basically where
Power purchase agreement.
There we go. Yes, it's where a company produces the energy and sells it to another company at an agreed price, or they get an agreed price for the energy. So if it goes above that, they're obviously making money. If it goes below that, they still have a certain amount of they don't hold the risk. Basically, if it goes below that price, they don't lose out on the money. I think that's what you mean. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, thank you very much. So yeah, that's just for my own interest to know the industry trend in the UK. I see there's no questions at this moment. Thumbs up. So just open for the speakers. Anything that you would like to add about today's webinar? Anything that you want to further explain or?
The only other thing I thought it might be useful for us to share, Eric, is we've just had notification this morning before we joined the call that the Department of Commerce for Jiangsu have included Solar and Storage Live UK in their key exhibitions list. So for any companies looking to come and join the exhibition from Jiangsu, they can access funding. And if they'd like to find out more information about that, then they can contact Isabel and I.
Yeah, sure. I did see some of our DPT Chinese team colleagues joining the webinar, so I think they were probably interested in. We can get in touch after the webinar.
Great.
Yeah, and yes, I think if there's no more questions, that will be coming to the end of this webinar. So thank you very much again for all the speakers and the audience. And for this webinar, we do the recording, so you'll be available after the session. So if you will receive an email with the link to access it, if you have any follow-up questions or feedback, so please don't hesitate to contact us. I think I have the, yes, this one. Yeah, so this is our DBT contact. Feel free to contact me or my colleagues, and we do have the LinkedIn post as well. Please follow our LinkedIn to know more updates about our events. We look forward to see you at next event and probably in the trade show in the Birmingham in September. And have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.